Alright, folks, I am back yet again doing exactly what you would expect me to be doing. And this time, I return with some energy. I actually have some energy this time. I didn't have to wake up at 8 in the morning this time. So, I actually have the strength and energy to actually talk about stuff today. Now, having said that, I'm about to not talk about anything for like the next hour. Just because, well, you know the drill by now. Douchebag friend of mine. He doesn't get off work until, 10:30. I'm gonna wait for him to join before I talk about this absolutely gift to mankind, which being the show From. And until then, I don't really have much to talk about. So, the agenda that should have been for yesterday before Dude decided not to show up. We have From, Secret Level, and this time, also, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man to all talk about in all of its glory. And let me tell you, all three of them, all of their mediocrity glory. But before I shut up for the next hour, basically, I have a couple of screenshots to show you guys. However, they're not on Pokemon. Let me just prepare them real quick, because I didn't have time to do that beforehand. So, give me a second. Excuse me. So, if that guy does not show up, then, fuck him. And we'll just talk about the show, because, screw that guy. Okay, so let me give you the background. So earlier today at work, I had a job to drop off in the middle of the day. And then, sometimes when I need to go and drop off some jobs to the lab, sometimes the orders will be a rush order, so, it needs to be done quickly. So sometimes I would need to sit there in the parking lot and wait until the job is done. I drop it off and I wait until it's done, then I take it back to work. So sometimes I got to do that. This time, I had to wait 20 minutes. So I figured this is a good opportunity for me to just walk over and check out this one store. Because there was this one store nearby, literally walking distance, that, I saw had Pokemon stuff, other toys stuff like Funko Pops. So I decided, finally, I'm gonna check it out. I'm never gonna just casually go without a reason to. Especially if I'm not gonna buy anything. So I decided, well, since I need to be here and I need to wait a little bit, let me walk over and let me take a look at what that place has. And well, a couple of things I saw I want to show you guys. Okay, so up first, I saw this, and I'm just like, why does this exist? So I saw this right here. This blank canvas of a Spider-Man Funko for $50. Now, it says there, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I don't recall seeing a completely blank slate of a Spider-Man during that movie. But I suppose, Funko Pops can do whatever they want. I don't even know if this glows in the dark. Now, you could say that maybe you paint this one yourself. You can do whatever design you want. I don't know. And then I saw this. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I remember seeing this a while ago. Wasn't the No Way Home Green Goblin US exclusive? Because Canadian plebes like me couldn't get our hands on it. Because it says lunchbox. It says box lunch exclusive. And Canada doesn't have box lunch. That's not a thing here. So I couldn't get my hands on this US exclusive back when it first came out. So correct me if I'm wrong, this is a US exclusive in it, isn't it? I may go back and cop this. Look at how long my fingernail is too. I need to cut my nails. And then I saw this, you know, the very sought after Prismatic Evolutions, sold for 380 bucks. I sent this to my friends and I asked them, is this worth it? Is this a good deal? Yes or no? Everyone said no, because that is a huge price up. Thanks to the scalpers, you know? And then I saw these two. These two are so cute. Look at this mini Funko. This mini Funko right here of Wally and Eve. And, you know, same thing. I saw this. 3-piece in one. These two are so cute. 20 bucks, and I don't know what the price for this is. I don't know, maybe I'll go back and cop these, just because those are adorable. And also that, Green Goblin Funko. So that's the stuff I saw today. A blank Spider-Man Funko. The US exclusive No Way Home Green Goblin. I didn't say Green Lantern just now, did I? Yeah, the No Way Home Green Goblin Funko. That was exclusive to the US. Because once again, plebes like yours truly up here in Canada couldn't get our hands on it. And then, you know, some pretty cute Wall-E Funko Pops. You know, today I only went in to just take a look, see what they got. Honestly, I can't imagine a place like that really gets a lot of business, you know? Can you imagine just how much it would cost to bring in the Funko Pops to sell? Now, yes, obviously a lot of Funko Pops. The prices are marked way the hell up. I saw an Invincible Funko Pop, you know, the damaged suit one, for 60 bucks. I can guarantee you it did not cost 60 bucks for the guy to bring it in to sell. But, you know, it was a pretty secluded store. It was pretty far back. Like, cars passing by would not see it. So unless you're driving into the location, for whatever reason, like, that's actually how I found this place. Because this is a new lab that we're working with. So, you know, in the process of trying to find where it is to drop stuff off to, we drove by the place and hey, now I know it exists. So unless someone else drives into it and sees it for whatever reason, they won't really know about it. I tell ya, me just casually driving by, I would have never seen it. So it's a pretty secluded place, hidden by a lot of other stuff. And you know, there's a shit ton of Funko Pops in there. It was majority of Funko Pop's store, with a couple of other knickknacks and whatnot. You know, a couple of marked up Pokemon cards and stuff. So I really can't imagine that place does really all that much business. Especially when you factor in the fact that the price, you know, one Funko Pop for 60 bucks. Gotta be a die-hard Funko Pop collector, you know? Now, I do collect Funko Pops, but, you know, I'm not insane enough to try to collect every single one that exists, because that's literally impossible. Funko Pop makes something for basically everything. And, you know, they're just going to be printing out more, so it's literally impossible to collect them all. I only buy the ones I want. Something I think looks cool, or a character I like. That's the only times I would buy a Funko Pop. I'm not crazy enough to buy a shit ton of Funko Pops. So yeah, I saw that stuff today. Saw a blank canvas Spider-Man. Which, like, okay. It's not even based on, you know, a Spider-Man suit design that is all white. Like the Ghost Spider or the Future Foundation. No, it's literally just blank. Maybe in the Across the Spider-Verse movie, there was one frame with the Spider-Man wearing a completely white blank suit. In the background, of course. But yeah, that Green Goblin one. I remember wanting it. Of course, back when No Way Home came out, well, actually a couple months later, when, you know, merch for the movie was beginning to sell. Normally merch would sell before the film, but you know, Funko Pops operate on their own time. Yeah, I wanted it, but it was US exclusive. Wasn't the Villain 5-pack also exclusive to like US Walmarts? Of course I wanted that too, but I obviously couldn't get my hands on it, sadly. Oh yeah, I was also about to check how many Feebas I've hatched so far, because yet another day has come and gone, and still no shiny Feebas. Not even one. Not even a male one. I'm just hatching eggs right now, like the eggs are hatching in front of me. So once I go into the PC box, I'll count how many I've hatched. And then I'll have to see how many more eggs I have in my PC box, because I collected a shit ton, like a lot. Because I have a 50-50 shot of getting specifically a female one, well, I figured I would need a lot of eggs. Well, another 5 eggs and no shinies. Alright, let me count how many Feebas have I hatched so far. Actually, first, let me count how many eggs I have in my box. Let's see. 8, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. What's 24 times 30? I currently have 720 unhatched Feebas eggs in my PC box. Alright, now how many Feebases have I hatched so far? Let's see. Let's see. 5, 6, 12, 18, 24. So that number plus 24. I have so far, wow, that's it. I have so far hatched 564 eggs for Feebas. So I am just slightly over odds at this point, and it's only gonna grow even more over odds until I get a shiny. So yeah, that means not long ago I only just reached odds of 512. Damn, that took days just to reach odds. And I still have so many Feebas eggs. Whether I like it or not, I have to hatch these too, because I already saved the game. Alright, now, if you guys don't mind, I am going to be watching a video on the side while waiting for my asshole of a friend to show up so I can talk about these shows, or specifically just one show. Actually, before I talk about this, I want to, briefly discuss something I saw today. So earlier today on YouTube, I saw recommended a short. It is titled Half Japanese, Half Indian. And the two ladies that were in this short, holy goddamn, oh my goodness. A woman who is half Japanese, half Indian, oh my lord, Lord have mercy. Now, excuse me, something in my mouth, pause. Now, me personally, I would be down to date a woman of any background, I'm down for that. As long as we vibe, as long as we click and connect, I'm down with dating a woman of absolutely any kind of background. That's just me. I'm down to date the blackest of black chicks if we connect, if we pop off. That's just me. My parents, on the other hand, of course, they have preferences. Of course, they have certain backgrounds that they would prefer, I find, and certain backgrounds they would prefer I do not. So, having said that, I wonder how my parents would feel if I brought a woman home who is half Indian. But also specifically, the other half is, an Eastern culture, like half Japanese, half Chinese, half something else. I wonder how my parents would actually think about that. It's like, son, we told you we would rather you do not date a woman who is Indian, and then I bring her home, it's like, my god, son, she is gorgeous. Oh, you're saying she's half Indian? The other half is Japanese? Like, I wonder how my parents would think about that. And before you give my parents smack and hate, my parents aren't alone. All parents out there, well, a good chunk. Some parents out there genuinely don't care. Some parents out there genuinely don't care what kind of background or culture their kid dates. But, a good chunk of them actually do care, using some as examples, Asian parents would rather their kids date other Asian people, When my sister was with her ex, who is now her ex, I should say, at the time when she was with her boyfriend who was white, my parents had their reservations about it. They were like, well, of course we'd rather our, Asian daughter be with an Asian guy, but, him marrying a white guy is not the worst thing in the world. It's better than, our son doing just that. With my sister, they're a little bit more lenient. But for me, it's like, son, we honestly, please, we would really, really rather you bringing an Asian girl home. Please. There are certain kinds of people out there who we really don't want you to end up with. We would rather you don't meet someone of of certain kind of cultures and backgrounds. And you guys also have to admit this, okay? This is just a fact. You guys have to admit this. Interracial couples, while there's nothing wrong with it, it kind of makes things complicated when it comes to, cultures and celebrations and stuff. Because you marry into a family of another culture, now you have to follow their, I don't want to say rules, but traditions. That's the word. You would have to follow their traditions, go to their, like, annual celebrations. Here's a good example for you. If I dated a white girl, well, she would then be sucked into all the Chinese New Year crap that we have to do every year. Like, that would just feel so out of place for her, you know? If I ended up with a white girl, or rather, if a white girl ended up with me, she would then have to, every single year, attend our Chinese New Year crap. While I'm not a fan of it, I still have to do it because it's in my blood, you know? So it's like, you know, being with someone of another culture, it kind of makes things messy when it comes to, like, the traditions you then have to do. So, you know, that's primarily one reason why my parents would rather, you know, I find someone of the same race as me, an Asian girl, because, you know, she would already be a part of the Chinese New Year shit. It makes a lot less trouble for all of us. A lot less of a hassle. You don't have to explain what this tradition is. You don't have to explain what to do. She already gets it. That kind of stuff. Anyways, how do we get to this topic? I was talking about a short I saw about two beautiful ladies out there who are half Japanese, half Indian. Anyways, now that I've got that, you know, borderline racist explanation out of the way, I am going to continue viewing my video. I'm actually watching Dashi play Poppy Playtime Chapter 4. I'm about an hour and 10 minutes into the 2 hours and 30-minute long video. So yeah. I'ma shut up now. I switched over to another video real quick. Oops. Alright, back to the Dashi video. Isn't it kind of crazy that, you know, a year has passed since Poppy Playtime Chapter 3? You know, I would love to play Poppy Playtime here on the channel. Yeah, that's about it. I would just love to play it. I don't really remember too much about the first few chapters since they happened so long ago. So, you know, if I were to play them, I wouldn't immediately know all the answers. And the plot is pretty convoluted already. Though I get the basic gist of it, you know? So yeah, like, if I were to play Poppy Playtime, I would love to. You know, it wouldn't be just a breeze for me, because I don't remember the solutions to every puzzle. I don't really remember what happened in Chapter 2. Chapter 2, was that the one... That was the one with Mommy Longlegs, wasn't it? And then Chapter 3 was Catnap. Chapter 4... Well, I'm watching that right now. Right? So it's been a year. It's been a couple years since Poppy Playtime first came out. So it's been a while. When's the next Garden of Banban, Because I often get these two games confused. They have damn near the same art style and, like, vaguely similar plot lines. Anyways, back to the video. Ha! He called Barry Gary. Wait, you wanna know something I saw on TV like 10 minutes before I started this? I paused the video, by the way. I looked up at the TVB channel, and for some reason I saw Attack on Titan. The final episode, too. Now, it wasn't playing the final episode. It was just these talk hosts talking about Attack on Titan. And then, you know, clips from the final episode were playing. I'm like, wow, that was unexpected. That was very unexpected. I lift my head up to look at the TV screen and I see clips of Attack on Titan. Oops. Oops. Well, let's see. Let's see when he shows up, if he even shows up. Oh man, he's here now. Great, now I gotta talk about the show and stop watching my video. Well, I guess this is a good time to pause the video. I'm an hour 47 and a half minutes in. Hold on, I'm watching a short about Kevin James. It's just a short I saw recommended about the Kevin James shrug meme. God, it's actually been a few years since that meme popped off. I don't really see it anymore. You know, memes that come and go. And then when you see them again, it's like, wow, what a blast from the past. You know, you gotta love internet culture sometimes. How absolutely anything can spawn into a meme. Alright, let's put on some music. Do you need a second? Do you need a second to, you know, get yourself together, do whatever, before I start talking about this show? You're waiting? Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to keep you waiting. It's not like I'm waiting for you to continue all the shows that I recommended that you quit. Yeah, it's not like I'm waiting. Oh, no, forgive me. I hate to keep you waiting, you know? With your Big Macs and chicken nuggets and Happy Meals. Any Pokemon cards at McDonald's yet? Whoops. Ugh. If I said no, would you believe me? Yes, because we live in Canada. But for real, is there yet? Because, you know, Canada, once again, sucks when it comes to finding news about this stuff. It's always America first. You don't think so, bitch? Didn't you say you had a Big Mac? Didn't you say you had a Happy Meal in front of you? No, that was a joke? You absolute pathological liar. Oh, you know what I forgot to mention today? Now that you're here, you can actually hear this. So, today, out of curiosity, I did the trick where, you know, you use 2 different mirrors to see the back of your head, or really just anything behind you. Because today, out of Jesus, that voice crack. Today, out of morbid curiosity, I decided to, you know, just take a look at just how big of a hole there is on the back of my head. And, it's worse than I thought. So, you know, I very much appreciate all of my friends for never bringing it up. Because all my friends are much taller than me, that means I have a very good view of the big-ass bald spot on my head. You know, I would like to think that my friends are a little bit considerate. They don't want to bring that fact up. It's like, goddamn boy, look at your bald-ass head. Look at the sheen off of that spot. I can see my reflection. I don't know, maybe I should go to Walmart, get some Rogaine, or whatever. I wonder how that stuff works, you know? Well, obviously you apply it, but like, how is it applied? Is it like foam that I rub onto my scalp? You know, sometimes I do debate about just like, forget all of this, just shave it all clean, just go completely bald. Because you guys know that, 1, it's gonna happen naturally regardless, and 2, well, the fact that I have to wash my hair every single day, because if I don't wash my hair for even 1 day, it gets unbearably greasy, even without using conditioner. It's like, oh my god, how about I just save myself the trouble? Save myself all the hassle and just shave it all off. Don't have to worry about it. Until, of course, I need to shave it all off again. And then I'll, you know, just walk around in public bald, playing Pokemon Go. I'll be like a shorter, fatter, less intelligent, less rich Asian Lex Luthor. You'd be like Vin Diesel. Wow, it's amazing you said that. Because I saw a post on Instagram today. I don't even remember if I sent it to you. It's like, 2025, can't surprise us anymore. And then a picture of Vin Diesel with hair. I swear to God, a picture of Vin Diesel with hair? I didn't even recognize him. I thought he looked familiar. And then I read the text on screen like, oh, that's Vin Diesel with hair. Yeah, now I can see it. Now I can see his face. I can pick out whose face I'm looking at. It's Vin Diesel, just with hair. Anyways, enough, dragging it on. Let's talk about this stinking show. The kind of treatment that you won't provide for me. Alright, I think this is episode 4 of season 2. Well, once again, it was a pretty slow-paced episode. It was another episode mostly taking place during the day, where the least interesting stuff happens. Though I suppose this show has spun it in a way where it would actually be nighttime, where it would be the least interesting things to happen. They actually managed to do that, so good job, show. Because, nighttime they would survive. You would think that'd be more interesting to watch, but no. No. At nighttime, they would just lock themselves in their houses, put up a talisman, ignore everything that is coming from the outside. They just go about their night. So it's like, they managed to make what should have been the most interesting part of the show, the least important. Which is why majority of the show takes place during the day. Good job, show writers. But anyways, all my flack towards the show, I have to admit, this episode, once again, was not that bad. While it was a more slow-paced episode, primarily just everyone talking, you guys know, I don't hate that. As long as it's written well, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not like everyone who has their attention spans destroyed and their brains rotted, where it must be action and CGI every waking moment, otherwise it's deemed pointless and, completely okay to skip. I'm not opposed to scenes and moments where characters just talk and, just speak. I'm actually the person who was advocating for that stuff, So I was pleasantly surprised to say that this episode wasn't too bad, especially when it mostly just comprised of nothing but talking. Wow, imagine that. Must be nice to hear a friend of yours enjoy the show that you recommended and about to praise it. Wouldn't that be nice? Damn, that'd be such a nice experience, Can you imagine that experience? Because that's all I can do is just imagine it. I can only simply imagine if my friend actually enjoyed the shows I was watching. Was about to praise the episode, praise it for being good, talk to me about the episode, about plot points and characters. Damn, wouldn't that be nice? That'd be really nice, Sadly, that's just a pipe dream, because for whatever reason, I guess I'm just not deserving of it. Well, I can't say it's a mystery why I'm not deserving of it. Anyways, which episode? I'm pretty sure this was episode 4 of season 2. One more episode, and then I am halfway done with this show, at least as of now. Because so far, there's only 3 seasons. Okay, so we started off the episode with a flashback to Kenny with his parents. I don't know. It's really hard to tell. Do you think they brought back the actor who plays Kenny's dad? Do you think they brought him back just to film this one scene? Or do you think they filmed the scene during season 1 and they saved it for season 2? Because unless he shows up again in the season, it would have been kind of a waste of money to bring the actor back just for like 2 minutes of footage. And speaking of which, that's exactly what they did with another actor, so who knows? You know, I feel like for this scene, they actually filmed during season 1, but then they just used the scene for season 2. Now, I can't say the same for the other actor who came back. Talk about that in a second. So anyways, in this flashback scene, we see Kenny and his parents. At first, I thought it was when they first arrived to town, but no. This was actually a flashback to when Kenny's dad was told to stay at the infirmary, the doctor clinic place. Because, it turns out there was a scare the night prior. Kenny's dad almost opened the door and let those things in because, with his old age, he was convinced that they were his brothers. To that I question, wait a second, if that's the case, wouldn't that mean there are monsters out there that look like, I guess, Kenny's uncles? Look like Kenny's dad's brothers? Where were they at? Where are all the Asian-looking monsters at? We see the same few all the time. We see the old lady, we see the milkman, we see that dude with the giant smile. Where are the Asian-looking monsters at? But then again, it's not the first time we've seen a monster quote-unquote design not really come back. Like, remember episode, I think it was 2? The opening of episode 2? The monsters disguised themselves as, like, Julie's friends. I don't remember seeing them back. But anyways, yeah, so we start off with a flashback. And another thing that I question, which is, in real life, pretty unrealistic. So, Kenny's father is a mentally ill senior citizen. And he's told that he has to stay in the quote-unquote doctor's clinic place to prevent him from having another incident where he almost opens the door and gets everyone killed. Now, the part that was unrealistic was Kenny telling his dad, trying to convince his dad to stay here in English. Because Kenny's dad, for some reason, also was speaking English. Because Christy was there. He was like, no, I go home. I don't want to be here. Kenny's dad, being an elderly man, he doesn't want to be here. He wants to go home. And with his, I assume, dementia, he doesn't understand what's going on. Why would Kenny explain to his Chinese father in English? Wouldn't it make more sense for Kenny to explain in the native language that his parents would most understand? At least even try? Because, let me tell you folks, my Chinese may be god-awful, my Chinese may suck, but if I'm trying my damnedest to explain to my dad something, I would try to say it in Chinese because he understands that much better. So, I don't know, that moment was just kind of unrealistic. Wouldn't it have made more sense for Kenny to speak Chinese when trying to convince his elderly, mentally ill father to stay put? Wouldn't it have made more sense to explain it in a language that he would better understand? Anyways, that's just a small detail. Anyway, so we cut back to present day. Actually, in the flashback, we also see Boyd also basically recruit Kenny to being like his second-hand sheriff. And then we cut back to present day, where, you know, Kenny gets Sheriff Boyd and tells him, hey, Sarah's in the church basement. Okay, so now we get to the question that was lingering from last time's discussion. How did Sarah get back there? Because I would have been so pissed if they say, hey, Boyd, after you disappear from the center of that tree, I just walked back to town. I would have been so pissed at that. The way they wrote it, I'll admit, is better than that, but still, it's not great. The way Sarah explains how she got back, she said, after Boyd disappeared into the tree, she followed into the tree with him, and then she was just back into town. I assume she teleported straight to the church basement. And then, because she kinda cannot be seen in public, she just stayed there for a couple days. So, after the events of Season 1, she instantly teleported straight to the church basement. Well, not gonna lie, that's just lazy writing. But, you know, I'll take this lazy writing. I'll take this lazy writing over them actually saying she just walked back because, you know, Boyd's gone. Let me just go back home. And you know, not even show that happening. Have it all take place off screen. I'll take what we got over, you know, what I suggested, which I would not put it past the writers to actually do. Yeah, lucky her. You know, lucky her. Because, you know, that's why I say it's lazy writing. Because the writers, they can do whatever the hell they want with these hollow trees. What did Victor call them? A faraway tree, that's it. You know, Victor, when introducing it to Nathan, he said himself, you never know where you'll show up. You could show up nearby or somewhere very far away. And then Sarah just luckily teleports straight to the church basement. Well, that's just lazy writing. Nah, actually, lucky her, you'll understand one day. You'll understand, champ. You're a little too young to understand right now. When you're a little older, it'll hit you. You'll finally piece it together. Don't worry, sport. Just wait a couple years when you're older and you'll understand. You know, my dad never said that kind of stuff to me. He really just said, you'll understand when you're older. He never tried to, you know, comfort me saying, one day you'll get it. When you're older and smarter, I know you'll understand, son. None of that. All I ever got was, you'll understand when you're older. And then end of discussion. What else happened? I might talk about the episode Events Out of Order. The plot's always... Basically, the plot for this entire show, for basically every episode, the plot's always all over the place. You have several storylines happening all at once. So, you know, I'll mention the storyline out of order. You know what, I just want to mention this scene first, because we had this one-off scene in the show, and hey! To my surprise, it was a pretty good scene! And the scene was, you know, all talking, no action, no CGI. Despite it just be two characters talking, it was a good scene. So all you people out there with your destroyed attention spans and your brain rot, you can suck it. Because this quote-unquote boring scene, I liked. I enjoyed it. The scene I'm talking about is, you know, Jade walking into the town bar, the town quote-unquote bar, and the bus driver lady was sitting there. You know, Jade, being his usual self, is absolutely terrible with comforting people. At least at first. you know, Jade being himself. At first, he comes off as a righteous douchebag, like he always does. But then, hey, he's actually pretty good at comforting others. So, you know, the bus driver lady is feeling guilty. The fact that, you know, it was her job to get the people to their destination. It was her job to, you know, make sure everyone's safe. Because they all joined her bus. When, realistically, it was nobody's fault. Absolutely nobody is to blame for, you know, getting stuck here. It's not her fault. There's absolutely no possible way she could have known, right? And then she, you know, has this pity party blaming herself. Like, that kid warned me to turn the bus around and I didn't listen. Jade's like, when? When did he warn you? Was it before or after the bus? The bus? Was it before or after the tree? She said after, so it's like, then it's fine. It was after the tree, you were already fucked. And then we get, you know, her, at this point, sad backstory. It's not tragic, it's just sad that, you know, she's a good person. She was saying how she wasn't even supposed to drive the bus that day. She was saying she was about to pay off her, I think, tuition. Like, she was about to move up in the world, she was just about to finish school or whatever. You know, she was doing good in life. And she felt like she was deserving of something good. Which, realistically, yeah, she probably was. And then this shit happens to her. It's like, damn, now I feel bad for her. So Jade comforts her in his very special way. The two of them share a drink. He assures her that you cannot blame yourself. It's not her fault. And also, you know, Jade also makes a pretty hilarious point. Everyone who got stuck here on your bus, well, they were all on a freaking bus. Their lives couldn't have been that much better anyways. It's like, damn. Not gonna lie. That's harsh but factual and hilarious. So, you know, it was a nice scene. Once again, we had a very nice scene with Jade. I feel like Jade, you know, I'm liking the character of Jade, even if he can be a righteous douchebag at times. I feel like I'd have a great time partying with Jade in real life. Although, you know, him being a rich tech developer or whatever, I'll never be able to get close to him, right? Like, if I was one of his adoring fans outside of his, you know, penthouse building, thinking like, Jade, I love you, Jade, you're an awesome guy, you want to hang out? He'd be like, get away from me, citizen. Get away from me, ordinary poor plebe. I got money. I got money to, you know, wipe the floor to make it clean for me to walk on. Anyways, I feel like Jade would be a great guy to party with. Evident enough when he was absolutely high out of his mind when he first arrived in town. Okay, so that's pretty much it for Jade in this episode. Let's see. Boyd and Kenny have a discussion about, you know, Sarah being back and what to do with her. Because she's a danger to the town. Everyone knows that she killed her brother. Have I been calling the kid the wrong name? Wasn't her brother Nathan? Is the kid's name Ethan? Oh shit. Whatever. Close enough. So anyways, yeah, the people are gonna freak out when they realize this girl who killed her own brother and tried to kill a kid is back. And thanks to the rules that Boyd hesitantly implemented and was, you know, reinforced by Father Khatri, everyone's gonna want her in the box. Boyd makes the argument like, okay, she hears voices, she knows stuff, blah blah blah. It's like, we can't throw her in the box because she can actually be useful to us. Of course Kenny doesn't believe him, because why would he? You know, it's not like he's trapped in an impossible place and seen impossible things. Why would it believe any of that? Nah, Boyd must just be going crazy. So anyways, like, Boyd is very loudly insistent that Sarah does not go into the box, and then he starts to, you know, feel a little lightheaded. He collapses, and then he gets taken to Christie's to get him checked up. I don't understand why Boyd just doesn't tell anyone what's going on with him. Because, like, this is not the time and place to be hiding things, no matter how ridiculous they sound. Well, Christie checks him up, you know, reveals there's a bunch of spider bites on him, and then just brushes off the fact that there's a ginormous gash on his arm. You know, just saying that he just cut it on a tree. Oh, you know what I thought about regarding, you know, the quote-unquote bugs underneath Boyd's arm or skin? Although, granted, the theory I have kind of works backwards. So, you ready for this? Here's my idea. Remember in Attack on Titan, the holder of the Attack Titan can see future inhabitants' memories? Well, I don't know what the writers are smoking with the show. What if it works backwards here, What if that, you know, Martin guy who was chained up in the dungeon, after his blood got into Boyd's arms, you know, it passed backwards, and, you know, somehow he had the memories of the future holder. Huh? So he has Boyd's memories of Abby. Huh? Huh? Well, I guess it doesn't really work backwards, but you know what I'm trying to say. Sure. Hey, Aaron Kruger had the memories of Aaron Yeager before Aaron was even born. So who's to say that this Martin guy didn't have the memories of Boyd, and that's how he knew Abby's memories? What? That's how he knew who Abby even was. Sure, let's go with that, and not that he's him. What the fuck do you even mean by he's him? You know, he's not him. He's not Ryan Gosling. Or rather, he's not Ken. Anyways, that's just my mini theory on whatever the hell that could be. Damn, wouldn't it be nice? Imagine, wouldn't it be nice if, you know, my friends gave me ridiculous theories like this about shows that I watched and liked? You know, they told me something ridiculous like, hey, you know the clues given? What if it's something like this? They tell me their ludicrous theory, it's like, you know what? I like that theory. Even if I know it's not true, I like that theory. Wouldn't it be nice? But nope! My friend had to go and quit all the shows I recommended. Well, I don't know, but I think Martin might be Boyd. What the fuck? Unless you're telling me Boyd gets locked up in that dungeon, and then after several years he turns from a black man to a white man. Ignore that voice crack. You think Martin might be Boyd, huh? I don't know. From what I observed with my oculars, Martin looked like he had a lot less melanin in his skin. The Flash theory, let's go with that. The only Flash theory I have that could possibly relate to what you're suggesting is how Flashpoint was able to change Iris West from a white woman to a black woman. Now, unless you're telling me there's a timeline resetting event in this show, let's see what else happened. Anyway, so for whatever reason, Boyd is hiding what's going on with him, with the worms under his skin. Oh yeah, it's also revealed that Boyd has not yet told Kenny the truth about his father's death. That it was actually Sarah who left the door open. So, because of this, he, for some reason, has a vision of Father Khatri. So they literally brought back the actor for like 2 minutes. Okay. And it's kind of hard to say if this is really the ghost of him, like legitimately it's him. Because I don't know, when it comes to this place that's stuck at, anything's possible, I guess. Or if it really was just Boyd's delusional mind. But anyways, his vision of Father Khatri is telling him, do not be an idiot and tell Kenny. Because what good would that accomplish right now? That would only make things worse if Kenny found out right now. And yeah, he's right. He is absolutely right. Aside from that, now this storyline is actually a pretty good storyline. One that I didn't think of, because, you know, I don't actively think about the show that way. For God's sake, how long has it been since I saw season 1? I saw 2 whole Boys episodes, 2 whole The Boys seasons before I jumped from season 2. So I never thought about this, because why would I? Why would I bother putting actual thought into this show? So Jim is telling Tabitha about the radio, how it worked. Because technically, nobody knew the radio worked. To everyone else, the radio, they got it working, but then a storm hit, so everyone had to run inside, and then all the light bulbs exploded. So nobody really knew if the radio worked or not, except for one person. So Jim tells Tabitha that there was a voice on the radio. It actually worked. However, whoever the voice was speaking to Jim, whether it be a warning, a friendly warning, or a threat, whoever the voice on the radio was telling Jim that, you know, his wife shouldn't be digging that hole. So, be it a warning or a threat, something bad did happen as a result of Tabitha digging that hole. So then that really gets Jim theorizing. Whoever was the voice on the radio knew about Tabitha digging a hole and even knew Jim's name. So Jim is wondering, like, what if this entire place is designed to keep us here, to keep us from figuring things out? What if this place is designed to be impossible? Kind of like what he said about the roller coasters he designs. You know, roller coasters in some ways defy the laws of physics, though I'll let the engineers be the experts at that. You know, the more impossible that roller coasters are able to do, the better it is for the consumers, or whatever Jim said. So what if this place is designed to be impossible? What if someone's watching them? So Jim has this idea that, you know, they're being watched. It's a big-ass experiment. They're trapped here by some sort of, I don't know, higher force, some sort of being watching them. So he goes and talks to the one and only person who actually heard the voice on the radio. Now, before I continue with the storyline, it would be so left field if this show turns into that kind of show. Some sort of, literally some sort of supernatural being, some sort of deity actually is controlling everything. You know, some sort of like demonic being. Literally like a CGI being is like, "Foolish mortals, I brought you here. I was so bored with my life. I decided, wouldn't it be fun to unleash my monstrous minions to ravage some human beings? That would pose some entertainment. So what did I do? I trapped you mere mortals here as my lab rats, just to see how you peasants would react." It would be so out of left field if this show becomes that. A literal CGI demonic deity shows up and just, you know, lore dumps everything. I think that'd be absolutely hilarious. And then you also see all the monsters bow down before this thing. It's like, "Humans, you disappoint me, and as punishment, all of you shall perish. Now feast, my monsters, my minions." They all run towards the groups of human beings. Imagine that. Imagine this show really goes sci-fi and absolutely, you know, science fiction crazy. I mean, first of all, is it really out of the realm of possibility? You have to remember, the people who worked on this show also worked on Lost. And that show was much more than just, you know, people stranded on an island. There were a lot of supernatural and, you know, otherworldly stuff that happened on that show as well. So it's actually not a stretch to say that could be where this show's heading. Now, that's a very bold and outlandish prediction, but still, if it actually does come out to that, I called it here first. So yeah, Jim goes, "Yeah, it won't." I swear to God if it does happen, you know? You know, it's not the first time a grounded show completely went off the rails in a good way. I mean, look at Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 1 was just, you know, a spy organization, pretty grounded, pretty realistic on Earth. By the time we hit Season 7, we have aliens, space travel, time travel. You know, it got crazy. It was awesome. Oh, who am I kidding? No way this show has the budget for it anyways. So yeah, Jim goes and speaks to the one and only person who actually did hear the voice on the radio. He goes and speaks to Donna. So Donna, not wanting to freak everyone out by, you know, letting everyone know, hey, the radio actually worked. But, you know, it wasn't friendly. So, yeah, we're screwed. That would cause mass panic. That would cause everyone to lose hope. Probably just take their own lives at that point if they know it really is pointless to even try. So yeah, Donna just talks with Jim in private, like, you better shut your mouth, because it is a terrible idea. And let us just say, your idea is real, that there are things out there watching us. They cannot be friendly, you know? And imagine what they'll do if they know we know about them. So yeah, Donna makes a very good point. However, I'm liking Jim's train of thought. I'm liking the direction he's thinking. He's thinking, well, at first, he's thinking, where's the radio? And yeah, that is a good question. What happened to the radio after the end of Season 1? You know, it was just rushed into the house after the storm. And then we've been so caught up with the newcomers, we didn't really think, oh yeah, where did that thing end up? So the radio's still fine, it's still safe in the house, needs a little bit of tweaking. For the most part, it's still there. If they go down this direction, I will be happy. I will like it. If Jim uses that radio and tries to recommunicate with whoever's on the other side, he could possibly ask some questions. Because, you know, what's the worst that can happen, right? So he makes communication with whoever the voice was on the radio. He asks some questions like, hey, who are you? How do you know my name? How do you know what my wife was doing? Do you know where we are? Can you see me? Are you someone out there who can see me? Are you even human? Like, what's the worst that can happen if, you know, he starts asking questions like that? A couple more light bulbs explode? I mean, unless this thing, whoever's on the other line of the radio, has telekinesis powers, who can make a house collapse with his mind, just when someone questions and makes communication, yeah, I highly doubt Colony House is gonna collapse if, you know, Jim talks with the guy on the radio once again. But yes, I like the direction it's going. I like the storyline. Jim will try to, you know, once again make contact with whoever was on the radio and try to question it. Because, like, you know, it's not a monster that hunt them at night. At least I'm assuming. So, like, and also, it's not in person. So it's like, well, you asked the wrong question, you can't exactly be torn in half on the spot. Unless like I said, telekinesis powers, you're asking too many questions, Jim. I need to kill you now. But how? You're not even in the same room as me. Oh, don't worry about it. And then his neck snaps. And, you know, speaking of Donna, so she also deals with that very uptight guy who was on the bus. You know, he's very, I guess, territorial when it comes to his stuff. He doesn't like others touching his stuff, which, fine. He doesn't need to be so violent about it. So Donna has enough of his shit. So she basically just exiles him to the bus. So this buzzcut dude, who does not work well with others, now he's on his own in the bus. A couple nights in there should rough him up a bit, you know. I can't imagine it's necessarily comfortable to, one, sleep upright on a bus seat, or two, sleep on the floor of a bus. I can't imagine either's very comfortable. So, you know, Donna says, now that this place is all yours, you can do whatever the hell you want in here. You have several windows that you have nothing to cover up, so, the monsters, you get to see all of it at night. So this talisman right here, you want to make sure it's hung up, because God forbid it falls on the floor, otherwise it's useless. I still question why the talisman need to be hung up for them to work. Why can't they just, you know, be on the floor? Despite being in the building. So they should work. Is there like a gyroscope inside them? They can tell if it's upright. You know, if it's flat on the floor, it doesn't have the same effect. If it's hung up, if it's facing upward, then whatever's inside actually has an effect. Right? Why the hell does it need to be specifically hung up? And here's a funny idea. What if there's 2 talismans, huh? Do they cancel out? Does whatever negative that prevents the monsters from coming in, would 2 of them negative make a positive, and then the monsters can come in because there's 2 talismans hung up? It's too much, right? So anyways, yep, that guy's now on his own in the bus. We get an alone moment between Kenny and Sarah. They're talking, which you know exactly where that's heading towards. First of all, we had a scene where Kenny is talking with his mom. His mom prepared a big-ass lunchbox full of food. And hey, surprise, surprise, there's actually a good amount of subtitles in this episode. Hey! They saved enough of their budget to actually put subtitles in for once. Well, during the talk between Kenny and his mom, they were actually saying, like, Kenny's mom was saying, you should talk to Christy. And then Kenny's just like, as long as she's happy. Because, I knew she was engaged. But her fiance's here now. So, as long as Christy's engaged, as long as Christy's happy, that's all I care about. W man right there. Good man. I know it hurts, brother. I know it hurts. Anyway, so, the food he claimed, was for Boyd, but no, he actually was preparing the food for Sarah. And I gotta say, it was pretty hilarious when Sarah was eating the food, just the crunch noises being edited in. Because goddamn, that was some crunchy ass food. What were you eating, pork rinds? It looks like you were eating fruit slices. Those are the crunchiest fruits I've ever heard. I don't think this place has a deep fryer for French fries, right? Even if there were fries, those were the crispiest fries I've heard in my life. So I thought it was pretty hilarious them editing in stock crunch sound effects every time Sarah was chewing. It was pretty hilarious. It's almost like she was eating a bag of potato chips. It was so loud, her crunching. It was unnecessarily loud for whatever she was eating. Well, blah blah blah, they talk. Kenny wants Sarah to convince him of all the craziness Boyd tells him about her. The voices in her head, blah blah blah. The little boy in white who told them it would be safe inside the faraway trees. We still haven't followed up on that freaking lighthouse from the end of the first season. Is that just going to be a forgotten storyline? Because so far, nobody's even mentioned it. Anyways. So yeah. And once again, shit happens off screen that you feel like, that probably would have been something nice to show on screen. So Boyd finds out that, Kenny spoke with Sarah alone. So that implies that Sarah told Kenny the truth. That she was the one who left the door open, and so the monsters came in and killed Kenny's father. One would think you would want to show that reaction on screen. You see Kenny's initial breakdown, you see Kenny maybe flip the table, pull the gun on Sarah like, I should kill you right now, you got my father killed. Sarah pleading for her life, apologizing like, I'm so sorry, Kenny, I did what I thought I had to do to get all of us home. Forgive me, Kenny, it was the voices in my head telling me to do it. And then Kenny's just like, no, me putting a bullet in you would be too merciful. You're going in that box. One would think that would have been nice to show, to see the character in emotional moments, to see the actors do some, emotional acting. Nope. Nope. No, that'd be too much. You know, the sad part is, this episode absolutely could have fit it in. Because this episode, if I'm not mistaken, was like 47 minutes long. There have been episodes that are like over an hour long. So it's like, you had plenty of runtime where you could have fit that in. What's like, 4 minutes of extra acting to fit in, right? That alone wouldn't even bring it up to an hour runtime. So they had every chance to put it into the episode. Tisk, 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 writers. Anyway, so, yep. Well, Kenny now is insistent that she goes into the box, and he even throws his badge on the floor like he's done. Not only as being a sheriff of the town, but also with Boyd for keeping the secret from him. And I think that's mostly it for this episode. I don't think I really missed anything else. Oh yeah, there was a small scene with, Julie meeting Elgin, or is it Elgin? I think it's Elgin. So, Julie sees that there's this new guy in town, and he's a little bit different from the rest. So Julie voluntarily goes and, introduces herself, makes herself a friendly face that he can feel comfortable with. Damn, must be nice to be... Well, actually, no, it would not be nice to be in Elgin's position there. He's in a pretty bad spot. But still, it's like, damn, having a good-looking girl like that voluntarily introduce herself to you, and damn, that must be nice. Imagine that. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the episode. Small details that aren't really worth mentioning, like Fatima asking Julie to be one of her bridesmaids at her wedding. Small details like that. Or also small details like, like Ethan going to see Victor in his room. Victor's pretty mad at him. Victor does not mention where he was. He was in a cave under the town where the monsters sleep. He did not mention that. One would think that'd be pretty important to mention, even if it is to a kid. Because, Ethan even asked him, where did you two go? And he just doesn't answer. But yeah, what about that lighthouse from the end of the first season? Nobody's even mentioned it. And if it was mentioned off screen, that'd be horrible. Because remember the talk that Boyd had with Ellis off screen? It cut to Boyd telling Ellis, like, okay, so I went into this hollow tree and then I was in this dungeon place. That was after they saw the lighthouse. So Boyd probably told his son, we went out into the woods and then we saw this weird lighthouse out of nowhere. So that probably happened off screen. Writers, what are you doing? Like, if anyone brings up the lighthouse who should not know about it, Like, if Ellis out of nowhere in a future episode brings up, Dad, what about that lighthouse you mentioned? It's like, wait, what? When did he ever mention that? Oh, off screen, that's right! Anyways, I'm done with this episode. I'm done talking about this show. Well, dude dipped once again. I was asking too many questions about the show, and he left. Well, before I run out of time tonight, let me real quick talk about this Concord episode for Secret Level. I didn't really understand it. It was not at all what I was expecting for the episode. I was expecting more of like, a shooter type of episode. Kind of like the Valorant shorts on YouTube. I was expecting something like that. But instead first of all, we got a narration by Captain Boomerang, or at least it sounded like him. This Australian narration constantly. It was more of like a space travel kind of episode, which confused the hell out of me because I thought the game was a first-person shooter. Or it was, before it was killed. So forgive me for not knowing any of the characters' names. So this group of characters have this entire, like, escape plan. One of the characters was about to be, like, I don't know, dissected or whatever. They all team up together to get out, and then they fly out of there. There's this new person who joins. I don't know, they get surrounded because that new guy sold them out. But then he get launched out from the ship, so he's dead in space. So because there's no way out, because they're surrounded by a fleet of aircrafts, they provide something, and then that enrages all of them, giving them a chance to escape. And then, they're absorbed into like this rainbow light. Presumably none of them survived. And that's where the Australian narration comes in, because whoever's narrating this is just telling their story. So it's like, no way that story's real. Nothing would have survived. Oh yeah? Then what about this right here? No way that's real, man. How'd you get that? It's one of the things that were on the ship. I don't know. I don't really understand the episode, right? Maybe if I played the Concord game, I would have understood, but can't do that anymore. Realistically, why would I do that? Just to understand a 20-minute episode? Well, that's the most bare rundowns I can give for this episode. Wait a second, there's another Final Destination movie coming out? Final Destination Bloodlines, official teaser trailer, 11 hours ago. There's another one? Damn, when was the last one? When was the last Final Destination movie? Because I believe it's been a while. (2011) 2011 was 14 years ago. Oh look, John Watts is part of this. It's coming out May 16th of 2025. So yeah. 14 years later is another Final Destination movie. Damn, the first one was in 2000, so it's been 25 years since the first movie. So let's quickly talk about this Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man episode. Horrible title, by the way. It's too long. By the way, I did also think of something. You can tell that they really, and I mean really quickly, abandoned the idea that this would be an animated project set in the MCU telling Tom Holland's Spider-Man's origin story set in the freshman year. You can tell they very, very quickly abandoned it. Because, the part of the episode that actually... Never mind. The beginning of the first episode, it was playing out like that, and then quickly, a variant, Doctor Strange showed up, so did a Venom variant. So, that clearly didn't happen in the main MCU, so very quickly did they abandon the idea. Alright, so this episode, Peter meets Norman Osborn. And hey, Norman Osborn does kind of the same thing as Tony Stark did, offers him a quote-unquote internship. So now actually, for once, for the first time in technically, like, Marvel Studios history when it comes to Spider-Man, we see him have to juggle his life. Well, actually, it's not the first time, but you know what I mean. So Peter got the quote-unquote internship for, Oscorp the next day. So the next day he would need to show up. Norman Osborn was, like, when you show up tomorrow, let the front desk know to let you go straight to his office. And, well, to no surprise, typical media trope, nobody believes him. It's like, right, kid, right. The CEO, the boss man himself, totally told you to go straight to his office on your first day. Yep. Nice story, kid. Anyways, get to work. So, anyways, Peter has to juggle a couple things that obviously he can't do all of it at once. His friend Lonnie Lincoln, he was about to win the football game or whatever. So, not only was he not able to attend his friend's football championship something. I'm sorry, I don't know sports. He had to skip on that. He had to bail on that for, the internship. When he gets to Oscorp, he's actually late because he was supposed to show up 15 minutes early to get his photograph taken, his badge taken, or whatever. It's like, nobody told him that. I feel like probably Norman should have, but he didn't. If it's his own company, whatever. So not a good look. He was late because he didn't know he needed to show up 15 minutes early. So then he gets thrown into this, like, evaluation by this very douchey professor, which I've had professors like that. He meets other characters. Specifically, he meets a girl from Wakanda. Now, I think that would work. No, wait, actually, no, it doesn't. I was thinking MCU timeline. Does the world even know about Wakanda at this point? Now that I think about it, no, they shouldn't. Because Black Panther, the movie Black Panther takes place, I think, a week after Civil War. Right? A week after Civil War. And then Spider-Man Homecoming takes place, I believe, 2 months after Civil War. So MCU timeline-wise, the world should have known about Wakanda at the point. But in this universe, Civil War hasn't happened just yet, Let's assume the events are basically playing out the same. Instead of Tony Stark coming to recruit Peter Parker, it's Norman Osborn, which means the battle at the airport in Germany hasn't happened quite yet. Maybe a day or two from now it'll happen. So the events of T'Challa announcing to the world of Wakanda's existence hasn't happened yet. So this girl, being from Wakanda, people are going to be like, where's that? Where's Wakanda at? Unless events played out differently in this universe and Wakanda is well known across the world earlier than the MCU's timeline, whatever, okay? It's a small detail. So Peter wants in on the robotics program, but he doesn't get it. Instead, he ends up working with Carla Connors, a gender and race-bent Kirk Connors the Lizard. Man. And oh boy, I've seen the brain-dead people on Twitter make the argument. Nobody complained about Olivia Octavius being a woman of Otto Octavius in the Spider-Verse movies, but suddenly everyone's complaining about, a woman of color being the lizard of the character being changed into a woman of color. You guys have to understand, it's not the same thing, right? Yes, it is multiverse, so infinite possibilities. In that pool of infinite possibilities, yes, that does mean that in one universe, Kirk Connors the lizard is a white man, and in another universe, the same character is a, black woman. That is possible. But it's not the same. It's not the same, folks. Olivia Octavius being the Doc Ock variant in Miles Morales' Earth, it's not the same thing. Though, first of all, correct me if I'm wrong, the Miles Morales comic books, isn't Miles Morales from Earth 1610? Right? First of all. So, correct me if I'm wrong, in the comics, was the Doc Ock of that Earth a woman? Or was that changed for the sake of the movie, right? So correct me if I'm wrong there. And second, you know exactly why they gender and race bent Kirk Connors. You know exactly why they even did it. Anyway, so yeah, Peter now works with a woman, Carla Connors. Well, they're working and then time for a break because Peter gets a phone call from Nico saying that they were both invited to a party. Like, wait a second, Peter Parker and Nico Minoru invited to a party? So Peter wants to attend. So he plans to, leave Oscorp for the day, not realizing that he needs to stay there. Not remembering that it's just a break. So, going for his quote-unquote break, the other interns are watching the TV. The news channel gets put on, and then Peter sees a fire, so he needs to suit up and go be a hero. At the fire, he sees this. Also, Peter changes into his Spider-Man suit in the staircase of the building. So yeah, Peter, he goes to the burning building, and I don't know which Spider-Man villain this is. Is it Pyro Man? Or just Pyro? Isn't that an X-Men though? I don't specifically know which fire-based Spider-Man villain this one is. Someone let me know. So the fight eventually spreads to a pet store where W for Peter, he saves a dog and the fish. So he stops this pyromaniac guy. But then he gets a text from, Dr. Connor saying where are you, Peter? You're supposed to be here at Oscorp. Because that douchey professor is scolding this kid for playing around in a place of business, a place of science. Well, Nico is waiting for Peter at the party, but, he doesn't show up. So she's just yeah, I'm gonna bail since you clearly can't make it. Well, when they're all in the room, the security guard says that Norman Osborn wants to speak to Peter Parker. Everyone just goes, ooh, you're in trouble. As if he was just called to the principal's office. Well, I suppose they are still kids, So he goes to Norman Osborn's office, pleading for, a second chance. I know I screwed up, Mr. Osborn. Please, just don't fire me. Give me a chance. And then Norman flips the screen so, you're Spider-Man. Oh man, imagine someone like Victor Strand finding out you are Spider-Man. Anyway, so yep, there you go. Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. And oh yeah, don't get it wrong, folks. This show has absolutely been wokeified. You know, why did they make Kurt Connors into a woman? The exact same reason they made Oswald Cobblepot a woman in the Batman Caped Crusader show. Exact same reason. It's pure insanity. And you know, people online are saying, like, aside from the woke stuff, it's good. You know, the storyline's good. It's a fresh take on Spider-Man. It's different from what we're used to. It's a fresh, original take, so you don't know what's going to happen in the story. I don't know. I kind of don't prefer more original takes with Spider-Man. I kind of prefer, you know, the classic story. Uncle Ben dies, inspiring Peter to do good, and then, you know, he works a double life as Daily Bugle photographer Peter Parker and crime fighter Spider-Man. I kind of like the original story better. But I get it, times have changed since, I believe, the 60s. So, you know, nobody really reads newspapers anymore, which, yeah. So Peter Parker can't exactly work for the Daily Bugle printing newspapers, you know? Which I find kind of is a shame. And the fact that the MCU turned it into the dailybugle.net, so an online podcast, that I can't imagine really needs a lot of staff. Especially not really photographers. So, like, I'm gonna miss the classic Spider-Man story. I will. So, yeah, I'm not really the biggest fan of, like, new original Spider-Man ideas, storylines that really go over and beyond. Really go that crazy. You know, I prefer the classic. But, hey, that's just me. You know, when the MCU Spider-Man first started, everyone was questioning, like, hey, where's Harry Osborn? Where's Norman Osborn? Where's Otto Octavius? Where are all these big Spider-Man characters? Instead, we got, you know, Ned Leeds, no Uncle Ben. Instead, Iron Man being the mentor. They deviated quite a bit already with the original Spider-Man storyline in the MCU. I'm gonna miss the classic stories. I really do. Or I really will. You know, I want a proper MJ, which we haven't gotten since basically 2007. And then, you know, if not MJ, then then give me a classic Gwen Stacy, which we haven't gotten since 2014. And if neither of them, I will accept Black Cat also. But, you know, when the hell are we ever gonna get that, right? Well, a couple more minutes and then I'll call it for tonight. No Shaman Feeding has subscribed again with Prime. Thanks, man. Well, I'm just about to call it for tonight. Oops. Nice shiny towards that EVETB. Yeah, thanks. That $0 I'm gonna make from that Prime subscription is gonna go towards the $380 price tag for that, Prismatic Evolutions set. I'm gonna do this for like another minute and then call it. When am I gonna play Marvel Rivals? I don't know. I tried recording Valorant footage, but my audio wasn't picked up, so it's unusable. Because I know you got the computer to run it. Probably just not set up right? Yeah, of course. I think I may have set it up properly now, though I still need to actually play the game, start recording to actually see. One of these nights. Alright, I'm tired. I'm probably just gonna do this last encounter and then call it for tonight. Come on, shiny. Come on. Last attempt, shiny. Come on. Come on. Be shiny. Please! Damn it. Alright, no shiny tonight. We'll try again tomorrow. Or next time. Alright, see you next time.